Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to explain the basic props type using TypeScript. So in my project, I have React TypeScript template set up. So I'm going to explain all the props type you can use in your TypeScript project. Since we already know a TypeScript is a React component in ensuring type safety and improving code quality. So you have to ensure each of your data types is declared correctly to avoid error and to ensure safety in your code. So if you are joining this channel for the first time, I'm going to implore you guys to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to receive notification on each video I drop. Thank you. So without wasting our time or taking much of our time, let's get started. So I already have this project set up for my previous tutorial, which I'm still going to use. So inside this place, I'm going to create a folder called type props. So inside here, I'm going to have two files created. I'm going to have the parent.ts, then I'm going to have child.ts. So these are the two files I'm going to be using for the sake of this tutorial. So I'm going to if I already have this open in my let me just bring this forward. Let me have it that way. Yeah. So the reason why we are getting this error for now is because we have no file linked to our app.tx. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to link that parent which I just created now, and I'm going to get the path. Yes, then I'm going to save that and close this app.ts file because we no longer need it again. So let me refresh my page. Yeah, as you can see, I have the parent as the parent text in here. So let me increase the size of my so I'm going to close this because we don't need it anymore. Now on this side, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add, I already have MUI installed, so I really like the MUI, so I'm going to just pass the child component, then in here inside the parent here, then I'm going to link my child. So once I have this linked now, then I'm going to have my child component. So instead of just having ordinary child component, which is text, the typography means text in MUI, so I'm going to have a container which is from MUI. I'm going to have a container which I'm going to move my typography inside. So I'm going to ensure that I have a style props. This is not actually needed because this is not the scope of our tutorial for today. I just want to add some little effect to it just to push it down. So I'm going to set this to 30px. So I'm going to have that, so that it's going to push it down. The primitive types. Now we already know in our React, without any template, you can just pass a props directly into your structure like this. So but instead of doing something like this, in TypeScript you have to ensure the types you are actually getting. So I'm going to have interface, then I'm going to declare a props, and inside this props I'm going to give 3 values in here. So the first thing I'm going to give is the title, which is going to be string. And once you have your type declared, the variable, then the type, the next thing to do is to attach this to your component. So the first thing you can do is using your fc, then the props name that you use, which is props, then you pass the variable into your structure signature here. So once you pass it here, then the next thing you will get an error for this, because you need to import this fc from React. So you can actually import that from React, or better still, you can just have your React dot fc. So this is going to get rid of the error. So it's either you attach React dot, or you just import the fc directly. Now once you have this, you are going to get an error from the parent, because we've already declared a props to be title, which we need to provide a value to here. So once you come over here, and I'm going to attach a title, let me just say liberty for instance, then inside my child here, I'm going to get the value that I passed to my title directly here. So if I save it now, I should have liberty right here, as I can see. So this is the basic props type, and the string is not the only type that we have. I'm going to declare more. So I'm going to declare age to be number. I'm going to add is active to be boolean. So as we already know, numbers can be in form of integers or floats double, that is decimal point values. So I'm going to, and why the boolean is, they are true or false values. So when you want to pass the value for the age, I'm going to pass 20, and for my is active, since it is a boolean, once you have it set, then it means you are passing a true already to this. So how am I going to do it now? I'm going to do something. I need to pass this to my structure too, my age and is active. Now inside here, I'm going to have title, then space, then I'm going to have age. So I can just use this to make a sentence. I can say liberty is 20 years old. Let me just put it that way. Now as you can see now, so just to test the is active, I'm going to do a conditional statement to check. So I'm going to do is active, and that is if is active is equals to true, then I want to have another typography here to be active is true. So I can have it like that. As you can see, active is true or active is feasible, anything you wish to pass. Now another thing I want to explain on this is that instead of passing ordinary is active here, you can just have it to be active is equal to true or is equal to false. So if I should change it to false now, then I'm not going to get anything here now. It's going to remove that, as you can see here. Now another thing I want to explain is you can have all these things, all this value as a constant in your program. For instance, now I can have name to be equals to liberty. So instead of me passing the hard-coded value liberty here, so I'm going to pass my name. Then same thing with age. You can just pass your age. Then this is active can just be a state, so I can just say active, then set active. If only you want to set your state later, then I'm going to use state, then the default is going to be false. So I'm going to import my use state from React. So instead of passing false directly here, I can just pass active here, and note the value of active is false, so I'm not going to get anything. So if I change this one to true now, I should be able to get my second part here. So as I can see, so that is that about the primitive. We have the null, that is the empty value, and undefined, so which means you are not sure if there's going to be a value or not. The next thing is going to be the optional and default props. So this type of props is, for instance, now if I should remove this title now, I'm going to get an error because the title is required. So for you to make any type optional, then you need to just pass the question mark before it. So it means you are declaring this to be an optional, that is, it can have a value or it may not have a value. As you can see now, it's undefined. So that is what the optional is all about. Then I'm going to declare the default values. So instead of passing it through the parent, once you have it set to be optional, which means you are not expecting the value to come from the parent, but it must be declared here. So you can just have the value to be inside your structure here. So I'm going to pass liberty here, then I'm going to get the same thing like before. So I'm going to pass 20 here again. Then lastly is active. I'm going to pass it to be true. So once I have this set, then I'm going to get everything I need. So this type of props, I'm going to show you how it looks like. So I'm going to remove all this that I have here. I'm going to remove it. Then I'm going to remove now. So from the parents here, I'm going to have my item to be let me just make it names instead. So I'm going to have Mike, I'm going to have John. I'm going to have Joel. Let me just make it 3. So here I'm going to pass my names to my items. So because I'm getting a string of array, so inside here I'm going to my typography, then I can get any of these items. So if I should get all of these items, I'm going to get all this list of names here, as you can see, Mike, John, Joy. So but in when you are using an array, the index value of the first one is going to be 0, the index value of this is 1, and this is going to be 2. So if I want to get John now, I'm going to have my index to be set to 1, which means I'm going to get only John to be my output now. So that is how you can set to get any of this value back. Now the second one I'm going to attach to this is having something to be user, and inside the user I have name to be string, and I have age to be number. So this I'm going to pass it to my structure too, and from here I can have my const user to have different datas, object of data there. So I'm going to have name to be Liberty, I'm going to have age to be 20, I can have my gender to be May. So having said this, I'm going to pass the user, which is the one from the child here, to be user too. So I'm passing this value now to this. Now from here, let me just make a copy of that. I can now get any of the value from it once I have my user dot. So I can just get name or anything. Now note something, I didn't pass gender as part of the props to receive here, but that doesn't stop you from getting only the 2 values that you declare from it. So that is how that one works. So then we proceed to the next one. The next type I'm going to talk about is the union types. This allows multiple values, that is declared multiple values, and only that values can be assigned. That is not going to accept any other value apart from the union of value assigned to it. So I'm going to have a status to be something like loading or success or error. Oops. Now I'm going to pass my status here, and I'm going to display the status there. Now from here, now I can have my status to be, if I click on control and space, it's going to show me all the listed value that this thing is going to accept. So if I should enter any value apart from these 3 values here, then it's not going to accept it. So I'm going to pass stand, for instance. If I should have that, you can see what this error is saying. Type stand is not assignable to the type loading success and error. So which means it can only accept only the values loading, only the values passed to it. the next type is going to be the function props. Now this function props is so important in such a way that you can use it to get a function from the parent to the child, and you can as well use it to pass a value from the children to the parent, sorry, from the child to the parent. So I'm going to illustrate this. So I'm going to pass undo click to be the function name. Then I'm going to have my bracket, an arrow for function, then void. So by doing this, it means you've declared a function already. So I'm going to pass it here. Now as you can see, I'm getting error to the property undo click is missing. I'm going to undo that in bit. So I'm going to pass, to see this in action, I need to create a button from material UI, click me. Then I'm going to do some little touch here. I'm going to pass a variant of, now this variant is more or less like the union type props that we just did now, the loading, success and error. This variant can only accept some variant, so it can only accept these three union datas, which is text, outline and contained. So I'm going to use contained. Then I'm going to pass my onClick event. Then I'm going to pass my undo click here. So I'm done with this part now. Yes, so on this parent part, I'm going to create let me say undo button. Then I'm going to pass alert. So this event is here, but I'm actually passing it to the what, to the child. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to get my undo click, and I'm going to pass my undo button that was created to it. So the button is here, the function is here. So that is how to pass a function as a props, as you can see here. So if I should click here, I'm going to get the alert coming from the parent here. So that is how that works. Now another thing is, you can use this function now to pass a value from a child to the parent, from a child to the parent. So if you want to do something like that, you just have you must have it declared here. Since you want to get a value, the name to be string, then from here you need to add the value, the name value that you want to pass. So inside here, I'm going to pass liberty to be the name. So on the parent side here, then I'm going to pass the name. It can be anything you wish to, then the type to be string. So instead of passing alert to be working, and I'm going to pass the name. So any variable you use is going to be here. If it is ID, it's going to be an ID. So which means from this end now, I'm passing the value of liberty through my words, through my function to my parent component. So if I should click on this now, I should get liberty. So that is that for the function. As you can see, we use it, we created a function in the parent and trigger it in the child. Same thing, we pass a value from the child to the parent. For this type, the alias type, we have the type to be sizes. This is almost the same thing with the union we did the other time. So I'm going to have the size to be small, to be medium, so on the parent side I'm going to have my size. Then if I click on Ctrl and space, now I should be able to get the value from it. So if you remember the union, instead of declaring a type outside here, it was just something like this, if you remember. So which is going to do the same thing this one is doing here. So it's more or less it's the same thing but different, just different ways. So I'm going to select one of the value here. I'm going to select the medium, and if you see from our end here, I'm going to get the medium. So this is just an avenue for you to pass a size as a props. So that is how to work around with the alias. Another one which is similar to the alias is the enum. So I think it's short for enumeration or something. So in this type is closer to the union and the alias too. So once you have your value declared here, the loading is equal to loading string success error. So I'm going to do a status to be status. So inside there I'm going to pass a status, and I already have a switch case and a message declared. So I have my message, then if case is status loading, then my message is going to be loading. If status is success, my message is going to be success, and if status error, then my message is going to be error. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pass my message here. Now we need to get this value from the parent, but it's not going to work because we need to export this before it can work, so that we will be able to access it from here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have my status to be status, which I'm going to import, then dot, then I should be able to get all the values attached to it. As I can say, loading, error, and success. So if I pick loading and I save, I should be able to get loading exactly. So, and if it is error, I should be able to get error occurred here. So that is that for the enumeration. A generic interface or generic type props are the one that render a list of items using a provided render items. So I'm going to have so once I have this set, now the reason why I clean this part up is because the way we set other props up is going to be different the way we set this one up. Now, since we have it set up, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pass I'm going to map through the items. Yes, so once you have this set up like this, you map through the items, then you render the items or the components passed into the using the render items. So on the parent side here, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to declare my items. Let me just make it items, yeah. Then, or maybe I should just make it names instead. Then inside there I'm going to have John, Mike, Joe. So in my child here, I'm going to get the items, then I'm going to pass the names that I have here. Then after that, I'm going to get my render items to be then I'm going to get my typography. So inside here now, I'm going to get the item. So on this end now, I should be able to see the list of my names. Yes, exactly. So if you add more to this now, you will get it like that. That is, it's going to display it one after the other. So this box is just like a div. So the typography is just like a p tag or a text tag. So and is going to put this p tag inside the box. So that is how it's going to work there. So the last thing I'm going to explain now is a JSX element. So let me say, for instance, now I have something like icon, so I can just have it to be JSX element. That is, you can pass a complete component from the parent to the child. So let me just get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm just going to have my icon. And I'm going to get rid of this too. Now for my icon, okay, let me get rid of this too. Now inside here, which is for the icon, I'm going to get home outline, and that is coming from the MUI icon. So with this, it means you are passing a component from a parent to the child using the JXS element. So I believe we should be able to get. So as you can see, the icon is showing now. So, and even if it is not an icon, you can pass a complete props or a complete component, I mean, inside. So let me just import that. Then inside here, you can just have a typography, which is, this is a box. So inside here, I can just set my width to be maybe 250 pixel, then height to be 250 pixel, VG color to be red, just to let you see that. Yeah, exactly. So that is that about that, all about the type. So the breakdown of everything we explain in this tutorial is, we explain the primitive types, the optional and the default types, and the array and the objects, which are the complex and the custom types. Then we explain the union types, the function, the alias, the enums, and the generic, and the interactive type, and the JSX element type. So I believe we all understand how to use these types in our React TypeScript project. Thank you for watching. Kindly subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to on the notification and to get notified for each video I drop. Thank you. Bye.